Welcome, UTB Blogcast number 30. We hit the big 3-0. We're over the hill now. We've got
a long time ago.
We've got Dave. We've got Erica making her first appearance on the Blogcast.
Yay, Erica.
Hello.
Ian and Roy is back from doing his civic duty.
Yes, civic duty. 1 week without sleeping.
Wow. And you're here? You're awesome.
Yeah. I'm a artillery field soldier, so.
Okay. I'm going to be nice to you from now on. Not that I wasn't before, but how about it?
And here I was thinking you were talking about jury duty.
Yeah, right.
So, first up, Priv hits new markets this week, I suppose. It hits the Magenta Madman's company. T-Mobile gets the Priv. And they actually did a little bit of marketing with it.
What did they do, Brad?
Well,
he said.
I mean, the loon that runs that company, everything he does is via Twitter, it seems, and he was tweeting. They had I think it was 5 special edition Privs that had the magenta T-Mobile logo on the back that he was giving away.
You mean like your Superman outfit?
Let's not bring that up. Last thing we need is Robert putting that on the site.
Okay, I won't bring up your Superman outfit, I promise. Oops.
Just cut me short.
That's what she said. Anyway, carry on. Very nice.
So really, as far as T-Mobile goes, that's Dave. You haven't seen anything. Bartron hasn't. Roy hasn't. So that's just you and me, Erica, that's here in the States.
Yeah, lucky us.
Only I've seen a little bit on Twitter. I guess that's about it. I think I saw one tweet with a picture and, like you say, magenta color on the back end of the Priv. That was about it. And I thought that's a good thing. You know, lots of people don't like their carriers' logos or whatever on their devices. I'm kind of one of those people too. But it's good to see that the Priv is getting treatment similar to any other kind of device that rolls into TMO. So I'm all for it. And yeah, you're right. He's a loon, but God love you. They made up, and you know, life is good. Sell more Privs, yay.
I think it's great because the market that T-Mobile targets, so-called cool market, and cool kids.
Yeah.
So
who's cool here?
I mean, it's basically the opposite of what people think of BlackBerry. They think, oh, it's the business user, the old guy, and you know, old school people. And so I think it's great. I think it's great. It'll give. You know, I don't want to say it, but I'll say it. It gives more hip factor. To
yeah,
a brand
more hip, less hip replacement.
yeah, exactly. So I think it's great. I mean, that's really what BlackBerry needs right now.
Now we just need Verizon on board, which theirs is. Is it supposed to be next week?
I don't know.
Beginning of February? I think so.
Are they the biggest carrier in the U.S.?
Yes, they are. The biggest and most expensive.
Right.
And whoa.
What's that, Roy?
I said Verizon is the biggest carrier and the biggest carrier that ever dumped BlackBerry before. We need to see how they will sell the Android BlackBerry. So they like Android, but they don't like BlackBerry. There is a conflict for Verizon in this matter.
Right. Well, I guess it's sort of like a lot of situations, including yours, where you are, Roy. People are coming back, and that can't be anything but good.
Yeah.
So whether it's this device or that, and we've talked about this before, but hell, all the news is good news, in my humble opinion,
Yeah.
and all the more people that come back and try this device, it gives an opportunity to try some more devices, be they the same ilk or something better.
And-
You never know.
and-
You just
and
never
we saw-
know.
And we saw South Africa getting the PRIV, India getting the PRIV, big
Right.
market for BlackBerry. And in the second half of February, I guess it will land in Israel. Small market, but still a market. And
Everyone's a win.
yeah, and the Emirates, I think it's a good market for BlackBerry, and they received the PRIV. And we wait for Indonesia, I think, or something like that. Another big
Sweet.
market.
Yeah, so that we can get more BBM comments, BBM
Yeah.
channel comments.
Pin requests.
Hi.
More. You want to meet me?
Yeah.
And your please.
Want to
Comment.
friendship you.
Yeah. Let's not talk about pins again, okay? That really broke down last time. Just like this.
For me, the PRIV test, like I like to call it, starting in February. So we should see a sales number in the end of March.
Yeah, their next reporting is the end of March. Next earnings report. That's going to be big because you're going to get
Yeah.
a full quarter of PRIV sales and a full quarter with Good.
That's true too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know we're going off topic here, but I think that it sounds like another positive or another more positive situation, more so than the last. So I'm kind of looking forward to it, actually.
Well, I'm very anxious because when Chen announced that they're gonna, he was expecting to hit $500 million in software sales
Yeah.
by the end of the year, fiscal year, of course. People didn't believe it. A lot of people said, well, that's really ambitious and don't think you'll make it. And what do we calculate? What at the last earnings report? What was it? 300 and something million. And just with Good's earnings, if they made the same earnings revenue as they did last quarter, they'll surpass the 500 million. So that'll be quite big.
Yeah.
Loving it.
So now's the time that we need to really start promoting the PRIV, right? Because now it's actually in markets. You know, I mean, it's great that it was for sale on Amazon. It's great that Shop BlackBerry sold it. It was great that AT&T sold it. But now that, you know, we're getting it on other carriers here anyway, I mean, the average consumer here in the States isn't going to mail order a phone.
Right.
They all go to the stores and pick them up.
Well, that's the way of the world today, and things change. And you're right, you know, pump it up, absolutely.
Well, in Canada, it's the same thing. Most people get their phones from carriers. I think most people even get them on contract. So that's why they need as many carriers. I'm not a big fan of that carrier exclusive stuff. I hate it.
Yeah,
Even though
me
I buy
too.
my stuff direct, unlocked and like from Shop BlackBerry, I hate it. I'm sure they have business reasons for doing it, but I still think it sucks.
I don't know, man. Hate's a really strong word.
I am not fond.
We need to go see the UTB counselor about the word hate, because it's very strong order. Yeah, I'll be all right in the morning, which is, of course, a lie.
So
What else we
lots of Priv updates this week.
Oh yeah, what did we get?
Everything.
Keyboard.
I think it was
Well, we didn't get it all at
services.
once, or at least I didn't. I don't even think I got it all yet.
I think the keyboard's the last one I have to download, unless it did it automatically.
I got the keyboard, and I got BBM, and I got services. And I'm just going to push this button one more time. Oh, look, I have a camera update.
Oh, yeah, the camera.
So if I push this button, faster photo capture. Gotcha. Sharper focus on faces, because that's where I like to focus. And improved exposure for flash photos. Alrighty then. And other bug fixes, which is really what I'm interested in, is bugs.
Do you have bugs on your camera there, Dave?
Yes.
Do you really?
I leave it sitting on the ground. When I pick it up, there's fucking bugs. I don't know. What can I say?
I think the camera is the nicest part of this phone. I mean, really, you look at the people within our group. Jesse now thinks he's a professional photographer because of the Priv.
I know. Well, he does take some nice shots. Come on.
He does.
He does.
But I don't think it's just the Priv. And then, well, it could be. He could be, maybe if you give him a real camera, they would all look like children's drawings. I don't know. But then you've got Robert, who basically just uses it as a camera.
He's got a filter that turns everything into finger painting. That would actually be kind of cool.
So this week we've got BlackBerry camera, BlackBerry keyboard, BBM, BlackBerry calendar, BlackBerry content transfer, BlackBerry hub, BlackBerry services, and contacts by BlackBerry, all updated this week.
That's interesting because I don't remember seeing the hub as an update. So I'm wondering if maybe things are filtering around by location. This morning I found the BBM and the keyboard. And then right now, for all I know, it could have been 15 minutes later. I just didn't check. But right now, all I have is the camera. I don't remember seeing the hub, but then maybe I'm not paying attention. Could be.
I think the real updates to the Priv will be when you get the Marshmallow update.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, you know what?
March,
I disagree. I think the real update would be if you push this button and it said BB10.
Yeah. I was about to say similar. The real upgrade is the BB10. Yeah, for sure.
Push this button. Okay, yeah, I'm on that. Anyway, I'm kind of kidding, but not kidding. Anyway. Or something. So yeah, I like that. They're keeping the apps up to date. That's good. Not too sure what else to say about that, but except as a general statement, I've found the usage of the bulk of the BlackBerry apps on this phone to be quite smooth, easy to use. I know that there's certain people on this blogcast that absolutely hate BBM, but I find it usable. I don't know. Maybe Brad and I need to go see the UTB psychologist. Yeah.
Well, okay. Since you brought it up, because I haven't really said anything about that in public, but BBM is the one thing I wish they would change on Android, because BBM is my most used app. That is everything to me comes down to BBM. That's how we all keep in contact. That's how we run the site. That's how I keep in contact with my family and friends, and the friends that aren't on BBM, they're no longer my friends. So that is my must-have app. And
3 people.
hey, but channels on Android BBM sucks. groups on Android BBM, it's the photos. You know, like I'm not a big photo guy in groups. I won't wake up in the morning and go shuffle through the photos and see what's been put there overnight by the Brits. But, you know, we know when Grim wakes up because Grim goes through every single photo that's been posted over the last month and will comment on it. And you know, with like my BB10 phones, I can just quickly go and see what it is. But with the Android BBM, you have to go into the group, into the photos, and go see what has been said. And I know it's just 2 more steps, which most things in Android is a lot more steps that we have to do than just 2. But I hate having those 2 extra steps.
Yeah.
Android users don't like shortcuts. They're definitely from the long road.
I don't know. I'm more into the feeds thing. I guess I use that more than jumping into the groups and looking at things that way. But one of the updates in the BBM for the Priv was being able to scroll through the photos.
That's right. That is true.
So you'd think that would be a little bit of a benefit for a Android BBM hater.
I'm going to go give that a try right now as we speak.
I think you should, mate.
Oh, yeah. You can just cycle right through them. Just like
Right.
on BlackBerry 10.
Well,
So maybe
there
I will
you
start
go.
doing what Grim does.
I'll cancel our appointment with the UTB psychoanalyst or something.
You have a really big mental staff, I see, in UTB.
It's necessary.
Sir.
But you know, you mentioned feeds too. That's also something I just never use. I never use BBM by going through the app. I've always just used it by going through the hub. Maybe that's my issue.
interesting.
I'm not.
Yeah.
Everybody
Among others,
uses
yeah, I
it.
think you're right. But I'm more of a BBM app user on either BB10 or the Priv. So it's just sort of my habit. But the notifications are the thing that I like about the hub. So it's an 80-20 rule. 80% I use the BBM app, 20% I use the hub. The hub is more of a, oh, look, I've got, messages in there. And even if I see those, and we'll, narrow that down, if I'm in the hub, probably 80% of the time I'll go to the app, and 20% of the time I'll use the hub. So sometimes when I look at my most 2 open things on my phone, which are the hub and BBM, 20% of the time they both look the same because the hub has I'm looking at BBM kind of thing. Whatever.
Yeah,
I mean,
even
everybody's
on
use
BB
case is different.
Even on BB10, I've got it set to where the only time I ever open BBM, the app, is if I'm looking for a channel. Because even all the channels I follow, I have set as favorites, so that every time they post, it comes straight to my hub. Like I never go into the BBM app.
I only
No,
use
I-
the hub for. Sorry, go ahead, Roy.
I'm using the hub for BBM chats and using the app for feeds or looking at channels. So I'm using the app more than the hub. I hate to say it, but I like Dave in this matter.
You like
No.
Dave?
No.
I don't-
I like Dave, not like.
Do you like Dave?
Let's just put it this way. We won't be sharing pins.
Give me the number of the psychologist.
Yeah, right. That's
No, I only use the hub for favorited channels, which was all of them, and basically private chats or multiple chats, basically. Non-group chats, we'll say. And that's it. For the rest, I'll go into I'll use the app.
Yeah.
I use the hub for everything I possibly can. I don't like using the app at all. It slows me
Yeah.
down. Too
Yeah.
much tapping.
Mhm.
No, I can't stand having my my hub bombarded with all kinds of events, chats and messages and stuff, and notifications from the groups.
I don't know. I like pretending I'm popular because I'm not. So, I use it. Whatever floats your boat, man.
Then what I'll do is I'll write an app that does nothing but randomly send you messages and
Yeah, right.
notifications to fill up
Yeah.
your
You're
hub
so
to make
nice.
you feel.
Yeah. You're awesome. Yeah.
I bet that kind of an app would be real popular on the iPhone.
We'll call it iLoser.
Oh my God. Someone needs to make that.
Or better, you call it M Desperate. So I'm
Yeah,
desperate.
right.
Just send you hourly affirmations. That's
Well,
all it
hourly,
is.
Right.
you can set it. You can set it to like minutes or 30 seconds. Actually, probably set it to like 5 seconds, depending on how desperate. Never underestimate how desperate they are, right? So I'll set it to like every 2 seconds would be the minimum.
There is an app on Google Play that's called Blind Spot. It's an Israeli app. It's an app that you can send anonymous messages to people. If you want, I can send you anonymous. They
Send it to us
love you.
anonymously.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want an Israeli app from an artillery guy that, is targeting people or, this is not going well, man. Or something.
Yes, Brad, the next subject. The next issue.
Oh, yeah, we did updates. Okay, yeah. Stock buyback, you said?
Yeah. Who wants to talk
Okay.
about that?
Why would we buy back stocks? I mean, the royal we. Why would BlackBerry buy back some stocks?
There are several reasons. Usually the one reason is to return money to the shareholders, and you'll do that when the price goes low, and it's a good bargain, which it is now. Others, what are some of the others?
So they can make a buyback mountain.
Well, they'll defend off a
some.
hostile takeover. So if someone's trying to gain control or a greater control over the company by buying back the stock, you're basically preventing them, we'll say, from taking it out of their hands, as we'll say.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking when I looked at it. I was going, you know what? That is a good way to cut the legs off some shorts. Let's take control of this stock and stop them from screwing around with it. The higher percentage of stuff I get, they don't get to screw around with. So I'm all in for that.
That's true. I hadn't thought of that. That's true. Another reason is just to raise the shareholder value, the value of each shares. Because when you keep issuing more and more shares, it dilutes the value. And that's really a big issue when it comes to something like, let's say, dividends. If they start dividends, which I don't think they'll do, for a while, but so that's another issue.
Yeah, and my other knee-jerk reaction was actually the first comment on the post on the blog today was from OJ. Hi, OJ. And he was going, well, is this the kind of thing you do if you want to make the company go private? And that crossed my mind, too. Not that I think that's going to happen, but it's certainly, if you're going to suck up all the shares, then that's your option, right? You need to own all the shares to go private, or you have to pay people, whatever you think they can take or deserve or whatever, and own all the shares and then go private. I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, that's how they do it
by themselves, right?
Yeah.
Well, no, they don't have enough money.
But I mean,
no,
legally,
the calculations don't work.
But I mean, wasn't that part of the issue before? Was with them looking for a buyer was because they weren't. It's not possible for a company to buy themselves. Same thing with like Dell when they were going through that. Is that not the case, or did I? What's that?
I think Dell did go private, didn't they?
Yeah, but did they do it themselves?
I don't know. I didn't follow it in that depth. But basically, yeah, you can buy shares if you want to go private. The thing is, BlackBerry doesn't have enough money. I mean, they have just under $3 billion, and they have was over 500 million shares outstanding, and the price today on the TSX, on Toronto Stock Exchange, was $9.99, so like $10. So that means they need over $5 billion, and they don't have that money, so no, they couldn't, and they shouldn't, because they need money.
Next quarter then.
No, not even, because they need that cash to buy more companies for acquisitions,
Brad made it funny.
Capital expenditures, and for growing, for hiring more people and all that. So, no, they don't, and that would be crazy.
Yeah.
If they did that, I would actually vote against it, because no, they need the money to grow.
Yeah, I can't argue with that, and I think if it did happen, it's got to be at least a couple of years out. They're in no position to do something like that anyway.
What they could do is maybe buy enough shares so no one can get more than 50% or controlling a stake. That would be good. But otherwise, no, they'd keep the money for growth.
Mm-hmm. I don't remember where I saw this comment. Might have been in the same in our post as well, but I think somebody was saying that, this. If you were going to go private, the time to do it would have been before or right at the time of turnaround, not now.
Yeah, that's what I wrote, and then for sure you don't want
Right.
to be in the spotlight, because then you have to report your earnings, and then you get exactly what BlackBerry's suffering now. Idiot investors saying, well, bitching about how come this isn't right, this isn't right, and
And
you're not
they
making
sound
money
just
on
like
handsets.
that.
You're not making money on handsets. Well, we're shifting towards software, but you're not making money on handsets. Well, we're shifting to software, but you're not making money on handsets. And
Yeah. Shut up!
if you want to get a patent, that's why I understand Chen's frustration. He's just doing such an amazing job of leadership to have to deal with it. See the crap he has to deal with, and with those kind of investors, and he's still succeeding. He's doing an amazing job at it, and
I find it not to sort of fork the conversation a little bit, because we never do that. I find it amazing that there's the percentage of people out there that dislike or frown upon or actually hate what Chen is doing and how he's doing it. Everybody has an opinion, just like certain orifices, but I find it interesting that it's taken so the vitriol, it's so negative in some people's minds. Like he is to blame for a lack of, for argument's sake, BB10 sales, which of course he isn't. And I don't know. What do you guys think about the general populace opinion of his leadership? I mean, step out of the the fan club for a sec, and what do you think the general populace thinks?
I think most general people think he's doing a good job. It's in terms of general public, they don't know because they're not paying attention. They're looking at Apple and Samsung and Google. But the people who do pay attention to BlackBerry, it seems to me that most of them are impressed. It's really just the orange site, and the people who go on there, and a few people who also from the orange site who go onto other sites. But I think for the most people who do follow BlackBerry knows to think he's doing a good job. But it is frustrating to see these idiots, like exactly as you described it, Dave. Blame him for the cause of everything. It's just ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
I'm biting my tongue right now.
Does it hurt?
Not. I'm trying to think how to politically put things.
Yeah, say it in a different way.
What I noticed is the people are calling for Chen's resignation. That's really what the people you're describing, Dave, are doing.
Yeah.
They don't say. I haven't seen them say what Chen should do. They just say, "Oh, he's screwing it up." He's screwing it up. He should resign. But they never say what he should do.
They're saying what they think, Ian. They're saying exactly what.
Solutions.
their solution is stop making Android, make only BB10, and market it. So what their solution is would have been what Thor was trying to do, which would have had us without BlackBerry right now.
Yeah.
They're so, their heads are stuck so far up those orifices that Dave was talking about that they don't see that we have BlackBerry right now because of these decisions that Chin has made.
Yeah,
It's like
They blame it all on marketing, and they say BlackBerry should do nothing but all-touch, 5-inch all-touch devices. And the problem is marketing. It's only marketing. Everything else is fine, just the marketing, which is stupid.
Go ahead, Roy.
Those people that call for Chen resignation never ran a company in this size. They don't really know how to turn around a company against all odds. So if they will run the company, BlackBerry now will be far away from us. So they should keep quiet.
One of the most vocal wasn't even able to run a website. But
yeah.
Yeah. Well, there you go. And I agree completely with what Bartron touched on. And everybody, have you ever worked with someone who complains about something and has no solution and no resolution?
There's one in every company, at least one.
Everybody nod your head, because we all know one or more, right? And that's the thing. You can bitch and whine and snivel and cry and bellyache all you want. Can I think of any more adjectives? Anyway, but unless you're going to come up with a better idea, you're useless. So shut up.
Not just a better idea, and a realistic idea, because just to produce a BB10 device and market it, it's not a solution. It's what they want. BlackBerry have
exactly
more things to do than just produce smartphones. I think smartphones gonna be they're gonna make smartphones, but it's not the big money for the future. So
no, you're right. And guess who jumped on that bandwagon this week?
Who?
Our friend Apple.
Oh.
Those guys have now discovered what BlackBerry discovered. Oh, the phones are a commodity, are they? Well, maybe the growth in this company is going to have to be services. That's what happened in that earnings call, by the way.
Yeah.
And so what are Apple's services? Tim Cook even came up and said it. That's what we're going to have to do, is spin off and chunk out these services. We need to call the services what? What is it? Apple Pay? iTunes? What else is an Apple service besides a lack thereof?
iCloud.
iCloud, there's a service.
And that's it. Well, unless you want to consider their repair on the hardware.
They have the Apple Music, I think.
Is that
I lumped
part of
that into
iTunes?
iTunes, but I think, sure, okay, iTunes, there's the iMusic radio baloney.
And I will get anything you give me, and get my credit card service.
Right. So he even came out and said it. Damn, that's blog-worthy. But anyway, why didn't I think of that before? Anyway, he came out and said it. He's going to spin out the services, and here's why. Because iPhone has finally peaked. It's going to decline. Yay! And they need to find an alternate stream of revenue to grow, because that's not a growth opportunity anymore. They can see it. It's been shown. They're expecting less now.
How innovative.
So, exactly. How innovative.
Once again,
And
they're copying other people.
here's a picture I've got in my head. Here's Tim Cook sitting here, and there's a picture of John Chen in his mind right here. He wishes he was John Chen because he's going to have to do exactly what John Chen is doing now.
I'm definitely going to buy the book, the Rise and Fall of the Eaten Fruit next year.
Yeah, there you go. Right.
Well, what I'm going to find most interesting about that is one of the things that's kept the iPhone so popular is that it was so high in demand. It's so popular. I've got to have it. You know, it's like it was the popularity feeding on its popularity. So now that, you know, it's going to decline, that there's not going to be that large of demand to where, you know, it's going to be on every news station that, oh, it's broken records, it's broken records. What happens to all those weak-minded fools that are buying the iPhone just because it's an iPhone?
Well, the thing is, keep in mind over the last few years, the only reason their sales grew of the iPhones is because the market, overall global sales of smartphones grew. Because if you look at market share, they'd plummeted before the iPhone 6. It was less than 12%. I think it was 11.7%. When the iPhone 6 came out, it spiked up because it, of course, with a large screen, went up to I think 19%. But last I checked, was it 4 months ago or so in the fall, it had gone back down to 14 point something %. And so yeah, I mean, basically say, oh, their iPhone sales, record sales, but the fact is, it was tied to just growth of the overall smartphone market.
Yeah,
Once
it's growth in China.
They're basically riding the wave, the industry's wave. Once that stops, that's it.
Yeah, and Roy touched on a great point. China's economy is not in the toilet, but it's certainly nowhere near what people thought it was going to be a year ago, which is when you know, a big push happened for Apple in that country, and now look at it. I think there's still a whole pile of disposable cash in that country, but as a percentage-wise, I think that you're going to see more of a decline there now than you ever thought there would have been a year ago.
And China's another.
And yeah, that's a big chunk of what their hopes and desires were, and so it's not looking good, dudes.
But in China, it was a similar thing. I think it was the Financial Post or someone really ripped into Apple actually, and he pointed out that sure, Apple's touting how much their sales in China grew, but no one's pointing out how much their competitors. Was it Xiaomi and
Xiaomi, or yeah, I don't know how to say
and,
it.
what's the other one?
It's called Xiaomi.
Huawei.
Yeah,
I think it was Xiaomi
yeah.
and Huawei. They both grew much faster. Their market shares grew much faster. And the fact is, Apple's market share again was actually dropping, even though their sales were increasing. Their market share was dropping.
But
so they were doomed to failure, to bottoming out, anyways. So.
It's Apple's profits are rising, and that's one of the things. At what point do people realize that we're being cheated when their sales are dropping but their profits are expanding? I mean, think about it. That means that they're spending less per product compared to what they're earning.
Yeah.
They're not making a competitive product.
And look at the rumors. Look at the rumors, man. They want to come out with another 4-inch phone and charge you what? $700 for it or something?
For an iPhone, that's cheap.
My God, people, wake up!
Well, don't forget. I mean, they bumped up the iPhone 6 started at $100 more than the 5S, and after was it 3 months, they bumped it up another $100, $200 increase on over the previous phone. And what was the previous phone's cheapest one's going for what, 600 and something? So I figure it's almost 30% increase in price from the 5S to the 6 if you bought it after, let's say, in the spring or so. that's where they get their profits, and that's really the only way to keep their, I guess we'll say, revenue increasing when sales are decreasing. And the fact is, I don't blame Apple. That's exactly what they should do in this great move. I blame the stupid idiots who are buying it.
Right.
What the hell are you spending that? What is wrong with these people? Jeez.
I'm afraid of the Apple automated car, because if the batteries they make in the iPhones,
Exactly.
If this battery will be in this car, it will stop driving after like 40 minutes.
Walks.
You will stuck in the main road looking for.
And when people complain about it, Johnny Ive will say, "Well, that's because we make the car so compelling to drive. You use it all the time, and that's why." Yeah, that's the whole irony of it. That's what I don't get. I mean, so many people just don't see that. It's like, come on, it's a company that's notorious for having poor battery life in their main product, and they're making a product that requires an amazing battery life. What? Yeah, that's wow, that's crazy. That's why I've been hiring guys from the company that makes the batteries for Tesla.
But the more important, they need to make the iPhone more thin before they need to make better battery. They're amazing.
And next year, it's the iPhone Twiggy.
You know, since the very first iPhone, I have never heard of an iPhone user, no matter how hardcore a fan they were, say, "I wish Apple would make the iPhone thinner."
No.
But since day one, everyone that I've known or heard or even come across has said they wish it had better battery life. Obviously, Apple's not listening.
And the first thing the smarter ones do with their iPhone is run out and get a big, bulky case.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
The generator. You need to buy a generator.
It's twice as thick as the so-called bricks that BlackBerry makes, but they somehow say, "Oh no, look how thin."
It's totally a case. I mean, that is the epitome of a case where a company's not listening to its customer base whatsoever, and is brainwashing them into buying something that they totally don't want.
And the thing is, they keep losing market share, and they still don't listen. And they keep losing market share, and they say, "Yeah, but look at our sales and profits." Yeah, but you're losing market share. What, you're going to get to the point where you have like 10 users paying $1 billion each?
Yeah.
I can say it reminds me BlackBerry in 6 years ago, or something like this, when they start losing shares.
Yeah,
that's true.
Well, it is absolutely true, and thanks for bringing it up, Roy, because our two favorite co-CEOs kind of didn't listen to what was going on around them. Never mind what we thought, but they didn't listen to developers, and they didn't listen to the general public. And look where that got them, and we are sitting in the hopeful results of returning to some semblance of glory. And that's what's happening to these people. These people thinking that their stuff don't stink, and it does. So you can't keep doing what you think is smart and not listening to your feedback, like Brad is saying. You can't do that, and it's gonna ass meat bite. It's gonna bite you.
Well, and that's what happens when you tell customers what they should use phones for and what they should not use it for. Don't go around saying no. Phones are only for business. They should only be used for business. Well, people want to use it for apps and don't tell them not to. And I've seen that comparison of BlackBerry of old to where Apple is going. I've seen that in the media. There's one or two places they said they're following in the same footsteps, and they got lucky, Apple, because media's been giving them a free ride.
And they continue to do so. Yeah.
Well, this year, some of them have started to, criticize them, seeing them in print and on TV. They're finally telling the truth. And
it's starting now.
The
reality, the the onion, whatever, is getting peeled, and people are starting to see the inside. And like a few people have said today, it's just people are starting to realize, what's been going on, and that they, on the surface, and Apple's been a very, I'm going to say, secretive organization, I think. And maybe I don't deserve to say that because I never worked there. But they've been very tight-lipped about what they think they're going to do and what they let out, which is little. I don't know what they got planned, but I haven't seen anything or heard anything that makes me think that they're going to change their ilk anytime soon. Further demise, I think.
Depends how resilient their egos are.
Yeah, well, Tim Cook has less of an ego than his predecessor, but he's also not as much of a driver at all.
No, he was an operations guy.
That's right, a facilitator. He knew how to make stuff work.
Yeah, he wasn't a visionary, and look at it, he hasn't launched a single successful product or service since he's taken over.
Oh man, come on! What about the awesome Apple Watch, dude?
Actually, the only one that's coming close is Music, Apple Music. It's decent. I wouldn't call it successful, but it's picking up. We'll see now that they're shutting down the radio and free radios and that. We'll see. The watch is a dud. Everything since he's taken over. I mean, think about it. He took over. What was it? End of 2011. It's 2011, I think he took over.
Wow, that long ago? Yeah.
Or was it 2012? One of those. I think it was 2011. I don't remember, but basically Apple was at the peak. They were at the top, and it's been all downhill, except for profits have gone up, but look, so many things have gone down. So he hasn't released anything. I don't know. I don't think he was as great a CEO as everybody thinks he is. I think he was.
No, he got put in an awesome position where you and I could have been awesome for 5 years.
Yeah.
All you have to do is keep the same thing going, and you and I could have been awesome for 5 years. Make no mistake.
I think nobody else would think about the iPencil.
Yeah, Roy, thanks for bringing that one up, because that one should get shoved up Johnny Ives. Woohoo! Whatever.
It's the iPad boner. That's what it is. It's one look at that thing charging. That is the iPad boner.
It's nicely nice. Or something. Good old Apple. They're good for a good rogering every week. I like it.
What I don't get is I remember, if I remember correctly, for iOS 7, they had gotten Johnny Ive to design the UI.
Yeah, they did.
And that is the ultimate failure. I mean, his product designs, because you're talking physical items, the iPod, the iPad, the iPhone. He designs a physical product. What on earth are they thinking? Getting him to design software UI. It was a major step backwards. The only advantage of the UI, the flat design, was that it's faster, so it's because less processing power.
Yeah. Well, the one thing they did good was when you clicked that stupid button 2 times, you could see the apps that were running in the background and flick them out of the way like the playbook.
Except they weren't really running.
No. Suspended in the background.
Okay, sorry. I misspoke. I apologize profusely to the BlackBerry faithful.
The open apps that have been suspended?
Yes. You could flick them out of the way like a playbook or BB10 or something, you know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I don't know where he ripped that off from, but, you know, that was okay. I like that.
My mom, when we first got the computer, we got her, my parents was actually a PC, and it was over 10 years, 15 years ago or so, and they hated it. We got them an old Mac, an eMac. This was in 2004. The PC, my mom couldn't figure out at all. It was totally unintuitive, so we got her the Mac, and she's able to figure things out. She's in her 60s. She's able to figure it out. She loved it, and then just was it in 2014 anyways, they replaced it because it was an old CRT thing, and replace it with an iPad. And she struggles with the interface. She's saying, I wish it was like on the old computer, the Mac.
Yeah.
It was just, especially the share. Have you seen the share? It's basically it's a square with an arrow that points up. And for the longest time, we say, what the hell is this? And that's actually what you print with. It is, yeah, well, okay, no, I'm going on a rant, forget it. There aren't enough hours.
No, that's okay. Let's face it, iOS could never, ever, ever possibly be a replacement for any kind of desktop OS. And I don't care whether it's Mac OS, PC, Linux, don't care. You cannot replace a desktop OS. I don't even know why they came out with the iPad Pro. You think you're competing with a Surface? What are you, stupid?
Yeah.
You can't do that, you moron.
They're coming out with it
If
because
I was part of their board, I would have snuffed that in a heartbeat.
No, it's because they know damn well that their iFan boys are going to buy anything at any price.
Right. Yeah, it's like the Beatles at their popularity height. They could have taken a crap on a record and it would have sold.
Yeah.
But you know what?
Recorded
It's
themselves
not true
tuning.
anymore. It's not true anymore, Apple.
They could have recorded themselves tuning.
Right. Doesn't work anymore.
No.
Yeah, bringing it back to BlackBerry for just a second.
Because that's why we're here, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I forgot.
Well, something I was going to bring up while we were talking about people calling for Chen's resignation, because we heard a lot more of that in the last week or so with the Built for BlackBerry ending that I know we've already spoke about.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I was in a conversation with somebody earlier this week, and he sent me a video, and I think I shared it in the group. I think the video has been taken down now. But something I didn't realize initially when people were so explosive about it, but it seems people completely misunderstood that. You know, I thought that people were upset because the Built for BlackBerry badge was being taken away. But what they were thinking and what they were jumping to conclusions with was they thought there was going to be no more BlackBerry apps. The App Store was going away. They weren't going to allow developers to put apps in the App Store.
Yeah,
no way.
Yes. Dude, that video, I wish you would have seen it.
No way.
But this was what was taking place in several BlackBerry groups, is they honestly thought that Chen did away with BlackBerry apps.
Hey,
And-
wait a minute. Wait. You're in several BlackBerry groups?
No, this was actually somebody else sending
I'm
me
only in
what
one.
people were saying and sending me this video and all this other stuff. I actually had to quit a bunch of BBM groups because it was just too much time. But anyway,
Yeah, I tuned out for a bit too.
but
They're
the
so
people.
popular.
I mean, this is what happens. The minute something gets said, people leap. They leap on it. They say, I'm reading between the lines. This is what it means. And that's where a lot of this action is coming from. You know, I was in shock. We talked about the Built for BlackBerry program coming to an end, that whole podcast, and not once did I ever even imagine people thought that meant the end of BlackBerry 10 apps.
Yeah. I don't know. People leaping is kind of classic, which is a passport to, privilege as far as I'm concerned.
It's a classic passport to privilege, Dave.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks. And I just made that up, so,
Yeah, that's what happens when it's reported and it's not explained. I think that was see, if you understand it immediately, then to you it's obvious. You think, oh, there doesn't need any explanation. But yeah, I mean, it's probably better to over-explain things, be a bit pedantic, than to just leave out too much. I mean, Chen's learning this. How many times have he had to go back on his inside blog and BlackBerry blog and explain things? And so I have to clarify.
It's the same old thing. You can't assume that people are thinking what you're thinking. You have to explain it properly.
If you don't fill in the blanks, other people will. And yeah, if you leave out too much information, and that's what happens. And he's done it a few times, and that's probably my only criticism of him is that he's got to be more aware that people are going to take things and run with it. They're going to make assumptions, and you got to think of that. If he thinks of what to say and say, well, how can this be misinterpreted?
That and demoing a priv.
Well, just what I discovered.
He's not an impulsive guy. He's obviously not an impulsive guy, so you can't put him on the spot. And I can totally relate because,
Yeah.
But what I discovered about that was that a lot of the people that were most upset about the Built for BlackBerry program exiting, and I'm not talking about developers, but just the people that were exploding in comments, didn't even know what the Built for BlackBerry program was.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate. But it's a brilliant, thing to bring up, Brad, because it's all in how you present something. It's all in how you say something. It's all in how you explain it. And all these people went apeshit and had no idea even what they were talking about. Ridiculous. Too bad.
So I got a classic.
A classic what?
I want to hear about a guy that went from Z10 to what? He went from Z10 to
Z30, I think. You had a Z30, didn't you?
No, he never did. He had a Passport.
I couldn't stand the chin on the Z30. I wouldn't have owned it just for that reason.
Okay.
So I had the Z10, and then I got the Q5 just because it was really
Q5,
cheap.
yeah.
So that was my two-hander moment for a moment there. Then I got my Passport. Now I got my Priv, and then this week I got a classic off of Jesse. Don't ever have Jesse mail something to you. But
why? Why?
Well, because number one, I've got a Passport and a Priv, so I was in no real hurry. I didn't need this because this was going to become my number one phone. I wanted it because he gave a good price on it, and I wanted to play with one. And so he's like, how do you want it shipped? And I was like, just regular. And I knew from my Q5 that it would sit in customs for a while. So he hits me up that the shipping cost nearly as much as the phone, and then less than 24 hours later, I had the phone delivered to me from Canada here to the U.S. But anyway,
well, we like to do things quickly, and we also like to apologize. So
But okay, I had no intention of this phone becoming my number one phone, and I think it's going to be. I think it is right now. I made fun of Blackjack. I made fun of James for being so obsessed with this phone. Oh my God, it's such a good phone. Like
I've only had my mitts on one for 20 minutes or so, and it's one of the most classy, well-built pieces of gear. Feels so good in your hand, and everything runs so smoothly. The keys are awesome. Everything is awesome. And it wasn't my phone, and I wasn't allowed to keep it. And I was like, no, don't take it away. It was destined for somebody else. And I'm going, my experience with it that short was just, wow, what a well-built piece of equipment. Incredible.
It is literally the best keyboard that I have ever felt on a BlackBerry phone. It's perfect. I mean, from going back to the old BBOS phones to now, it is by far the best keyboard I've ever felt on a phone. And the screen is small, and I'm not going to lie and say that I'm happy with that, because there's certain aspects like reading back in our group and going through my hub that kind of bothers me that the screen is small. But at the same time, the one-handedness, I mean, I was somebody that I can type on my Passport one-handed, out of eyeshot of passing by CHP. I can do that. But this thing, like, it invites one-handed typing, and it's fast. And that tool belt, I really would like to see a tool belt on a Passport. The added functionality that tool belt that I made fun of and said that we should never have that on another BlackBerry again, there's no need for it, is huge.
Yeah.
Huge.
Well, Blackjack, you are vindicated.
Don't tell him that. He doesn't need
I
to
won't tell him publicly.
I know he doesn't watch the
He's
Blogcast,
vindicated.
so I feel safe saying it here.
then I won't put it on my website, I won't blog about it, and I won't BBM him later.
Jackass.
Black jackass.
So I just wanted to say, from somebody that didn't see the point of the Classic, it's amazing to me, and I really think it's going to take the place of my Passport as a daily driver, and I never thought I would say that.
Well, so you've had this for how many hours? And I know it's a new toy, and I always love a new toy. Do you really think it's gripped you harder than the Passport did when you first got it, or what do you think?
You know, I'd put it in equal ground because the Passport amazed me at what it could do.
Blows me.
The Classic
right?
amazes me with how it feels. The Priv amazed me with how fast I could put it down. But the Classic is just, I mean, like, I think I said it in I don't know if I said it in groups or forum the other day, but like, the Classic is the ultimate smartphone to me. The Passport is a laptop, tablet, phone replacement. You know, I'm not going to make any sort of joke that the Classic could do what the Passport can do, because as far as functionality, for me, it just can't. But for a phone that I'm going to carry around in my pocket all day and use for communication and chatting in the groups and blah, 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 I think the Classic wins. I really do.
Yeah,
for running
that's
the
cool.
Running the sites, it's the Passport. Definitely.
Yeah, I get that, and that's why I was so bummed that somebody handed me a Passport to play with for 20 minutes, and I went, oh my god! After 3 minutes, I'm kind of like instantly in love with just the form, function, feel, fit, and finish, the quality of the thing, and it's just ridiculous. Just love it at first sight kind of thing. It looks awesome. It's very cool looking. And you're right about the screen, but whatever. It's as a communications device, big time killer machine. It's just got form and function written all over it. Passport, yeah, it's got form and it's got function, and the keyboard's larger, which I like in some ways. And the screen is bigger, which is definitely nice. And it's got a much more powerful processor or whatever. I don't even. Does it have more RAM or are they the same? I don't know. But between if you plunked them both down to me and said, "Which one do you want for free right now?" I'd be looking at the Classic pretty hard because it's well, I just love the thing.
Yeah, that's why I got Passport as my daily driver, and I got my Z10.
Yeah, you got multimedia covered, and you've got powerhouse communications covered.
Yeah, I use my Z10 when I need something small for one-handed use, and I got my Passport for everything else.
Yeah, you got 16:9 for any kind of media too.
And I have my old Nokia dumb phone. I
Where
give it a spin
for
for
your
2 weeks.
illegal activities?
Which I would like to see you smash against a wall, but whatever.
No, I keep it. I use it for like 2 weeks or so, just up until this week. I was trying it out for 2 weeks. I hadn't used it in many years, and I figured, well, I'll charge it up and see if it still works. Keys were a bit, some of them intermittent, but after a bit of usage came in, and I bought that thing in, 2002? Yeah, 2002.
Look at how many of us. Look at how many of us.
All made of
carry-
plastic. You can actually separate it, because that was the whole point. You could take the case off, the front and back, and replace it with something with a fancier design or whatever you wanted. Customize. Same with the keys, keyboard. I'll bet you that it's in a drop test, it would beat the iPhone, which is made of metal, and that's the sad part. Made of plastic, I can top it, hit the roof, hit the ground, and it probably won't even scratch, let alone crack.
I can beat the iPhone every time with a baseball bat. Let's
Look
go
at how
around the
many of
table
us
and hear
carry two
what
phones.
everybody's favorite phone is.
Wait, let me get this out. Look how many of us carry two phones now. And if you go back, what, like 7 or 8 years, we carried two phones, one for apps, one for communication. We had our BlackBerry phone and we had our Android or iPhone or something like that. But how many of us now carry two phones that are just two different form factors of BlackBerry 10? I mean, there's a lot of us that have these two phones now, but it's because, okay, this one fits in my pocket better at work. This one is for when I'm out of work. It amazes me how many people within our group, at least, have multiple BlackBerry 10 phones, and I don't think there's any of us that have a BlackBerry and okay, I can't really say that because of the Priv now, but I don't think any of us before the Priv carried a BlackBerry and an Android or a BlackBerry and an iPhone. We all carried multiple BlackBerries. That says a lot.
Scenario. That's more of a work scenario.
Yeah. Well, in my case, the reason why I have more than one BlackBerry is just because I started with one, then I bought an upgrade, the Z30, and so I figured, well, I'll just keep the Z10 as a backup. And then I bought the Passport, and I said, well, I'm going to sell one of them. I just want to keep one as a main one and one as a backup in case my main one goes down, which happened. That was last year. So yeah, that's the main reason. But I wouldn't, like, if let's say I had no phones, I wouldn't go out and buy two. If I did, there would be BlackBerries.
I have a problem. I want them all, and I want to be able to switch between them. And I'm upset that I made fun of James for doing that for so long because now I have a feeling I'm going to be the one showing up. Brad has joined the group every day.
Yeah. That's what it's from. Are we like the Pokemon?
Got to catch them all.
I was wondering what those notifications were from. Okay.
That's from switching phones.
Okay, so Brad's current favorite is his Classic, and I'm going to guess his second today is his Passport.
Yeah.
And so I want to hear from Erica what her favorite is, and maybe second, or how many does Erica carry?
Right now, I only have one that I use. I switched from CDMA to GSM earlier or last year, so all of my old BlackBerries, I can't really use them. But my daughters do use my old Q10 at home on Wi-Fi just to BBM me whenever.
Whoop! Looks like we're frozen.
Oh, there she's back.
Yeah.
Did you hear all of it, or did I just waste my breath?
After you talked about your daughters, there was a few words, and after that, the whole thing froze.
Oh, well, I was just saying that my Passport is my only BlackBerry now, and I wouldn't trade it. It's definitely my favorite phone of all time.
Yeah. It's the killer app.
Except for trade it for a BlackBerry 2, a Passport 2.
Yeah.
Whenever that comes up.
I might trade it depending on what they develop next. We'll put it that way.
Yeah. Bartron, to recap what your situation is?
Oh, well, definitely the Passport's my number one. I'd only trade it for another Passport, a better Passport.
Yeah.
But the screen and the keyboard size is just right. It's just right for most things. I'll keep my Z10 for one-handed use, and for me that's a great smartphone. Whereas, like Brad was saying, the Passport is the laptop replacement. So that's for me. So I'd like to get the SE, but no, I gotta watch my pennies or nickels. We don't have pennies anymore.
Well, that's kind of a monetary thing for me. Like, I already have a Passport, and I love the SE for its build, fit, and finish. Slightly closer to the Classic thing, as far as I'm concerned. It's the silver edition. It's just a beautiful piece of gear. But I already have a Passport, so I kind of don't need it. And Roy, what about Roy? What do you got?
I use two devices. Passport is my daily driver, and Z10 as my work device.
So your work device, is it locked down with Bez or
No.
no?
My workplace work with a mobile iron, so no best for me. But I don't want to work with Android, so I prefer Z10 or
Yeah.
Q5 or 9900 or 9700 or any other.
Yeah. Smoke signals. Anything other than all right. Okay.
You know, I don't want to say that the Classic is a better phone than the Passport. I'm not saying that at all. I mean, the Passport is by far the most amazing phone I've ever owned. But I think the Classic's the most comfortable phone I've ever owned.
Right. I could see that. And
I think it
right
was-
now, I'm a dirty priv person as a daily driver. I continue to do that to experience, what that represents, what BlackBerry's putting out, what apps they're improving on, which they did it today, like we started out talking about. And my dearly beloved Passport is with me every day, and my Z30 is my trusty dusty backup, which to this day has the best audio quality on any mobile unit ever seen. So I love that thing too. I love them all.
Are the speakers on the Z30 better than the Priv? Or the sound anyway?
By a large margin.
Oh, wow.
I think the speakers on the Passport are better than the Priv.
Yes, they are. In ranking, the Z30 would be number one. The Passport would be a close second, mostly because they're both coming out the bottom, as opposed to the extreme left and right of a 16:9 device. And also because of their placement, they're just straight out as opposed to slightly angled down and out on the Z30. When you place a Z30 down on a table and play a song, not necessarily at totally the highest volume, anybody will walk over to that thing and go, no way, that little thing is putting out that stereo audio. No way. It's the best mobile audio I've heard for a phone, bar none.
Yeah,
So that's number one. Passport is right behind it, and I would consider the Priv a distant third.
Yeah, I would actually rank the Passport. Well, the difference between the Passport sound coming from the Passport speakers and the Z30 is the Passport was more clarity, better higher end response, but much less bass.
Yes.
The Z30 had better bass, not as much high end response, and maybe not as clear. So
yeah, you
depends what music you're listening to.
You get the EQs running on either one of those things, and you're still going to be able to come up with a better product on a Z30, audio-wise.
Yeah, I didn't try to. I got, like, if you're listening to voice and acoustic, music like just a singer and an acoustic guitar, it will sound better on the Passport. But if you're just listening to something where you get the whole band in it.
Oh yeah, a whole band with
probably,
the bass drum and the bass guitar. Oh yeah.
But if you're listening to hip hop or something, you're better off with the Z30.
What is this hip hop you discussing? What is this hip hop thing?
I just said hip hop because you look like a hip hop guy.
Oh, I know.
Says the guy wearing the hoodie.
Yeah, right. That's your problem, dude.
The guy wearing the hoodie and the shades.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dave, you look like a hip hop guy.
Straight out of Bartron. Or something.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. There you go.
Looks more like the Unabomber, Bartron.
That's true.
The Uni-BBMer.
Okay, folks. Do we have Are we good?
Yeah, I'm hungry. I want to go eat sushi.
You just made me not hungry anymore. But okay.
Are you kidding me, man? Come on, you're in California.
I
What
like
the
my
hell?
food cooked, Dave. I want it cooked.
You're a wimp. That's wimpy. Eat sushi.
Well, then have the sushi made with the cook meats. Shrimp,
Yeah.
octopus,
And stuff.
and stuff.
Hmm.
I want whatever I eat to have a face.
Well, we could put sushi bits, and 2 of them are the eyes, and 3 of them are the mouth. And, it's got a face.
No, I'm talking like cow, pig.
Yeah.
It's just
Wasabi with that.
something that screamed when it died. I shouldn't say that. But
No, I know. Well, the fish, they did that too. Fish have faces.
blub blub blub.
Okay,
All right,
well,
let's call it.
This is
I'm
degrading
hungry.
quickly.
Yeah, this is out of control. I'm gonna get PETA after us.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, good night, folks. We'll see you next week. Don't forget UTB Showcase on Sunday nights. Anything you want to plug there, Roy?
No, I'm just tired.
Okay. What do you mean you just got up? We're tired. You're just getting up. Come
No,
on.
it's almost 7 a.m.
I know, you're just getting up. Come on. Me, I want to go to bed now, but I have to eat sushi first.
It looks like it's a punishment for you.
Eat your sushi and go to bed, Dave.
Yes,
You've
dear.
been bad.
Okay.
You will
I'm
never
sorry.
sleep if you don't eat sushi.
Yeah.
All right, good night.
Good night, folks.
See
Good
you
night.
later, people.
Yeah.